is the debate part of the podcast. We're going to be discussing and we're going to be ranking the all-time most expensive transfers into a tier list. We've got unreal at the top, then we've got good, average, poor, and then flop. You'll be able to see this on the screen at the moment. We're going to be putting in the top 20, and there are some absolute... I could not believe some of the players in this top 20, if I'm honest. And the fees that some of these players have got. Just one name, we're going to go straight in. Number 20, Romelu Lukaku. In the 2017-2018 season, signed from Everton to Manchester United for 76.23 million. And in that time, he played 66 Premier League games, 28 goals, no trophies. We'll leave it at that. Where would you guys like to put him in this time?
I'll go. You know what? His first season is where he scored most of those goals for Man United. It wasn't that bad for the first season.
I was about
and
to
you
say,
can say it was average. Maybe even good the first season. For the second season,
I think I was going to lean average.
My gut feeling says average. I don't think. I think the stats don't give. United looked better with him when he was in that first season.
It wasn't his fault, was it? Like I think he was okay at that time, and United just still weren't.
Yeah, they weren't.
I don't know. He probably is poor if you look at it as a whole.
But you know, you said 28 goals in 66 games.
28 goals in 66 games.
That's a good
return. Just over 1 in 3.
And then you go look at the defence for really. The defence was awful.
And you look at some of the goals he scored, and some of them were really good goals as well. It was proper striker goals. Yeah. So, I'm inclined to go average.
I'm going average, I think.
Average
or poor, I don't mind. I think you can have the decider, Sam.
Well, no, but you three of you just said average.
Average to poor was probably...
If he was, I don't know.
I just think if we're looking at the calibre of players, for 76 million to only score 28 goals in 2 seasons...
Is that just the Prem?
In the Prem in 2 seasons.
So what was all comps?
I've literally just got the Prem stats because I thought we'll keep it to the league because if we're not, then I could have so many stats on all these players. We're about to go through 20 players.
I'd say average, to be honest.
Okay.
Like you say, I don't think it was all his fault.
Okay, then for the first time, then we'll stick it in average, and obviously we can later on in the whenever we see other players as we go further on, we can move players around.
28-66 was all games?
That is Premier League. I looked on the Prem website.
Oh, it's Wikipedia, so...
I was on the Premier League website. Don't you worry. When I do my stats and my research, I take this very seriously. I get proper nerdy. I have to admit, I was trying to find like all of his assists and things. I thought, I can't do that for every player. Okay, then. 19th most expensive transfer of all time was last summer. 76.5 million, Jadon Sancho to Manchester United from Borussia Dortmund.
76 million.
76 million, 19th of all time. He is flop.
Yeah, it's
flop.
So far,
get him in flop.
It's a Frankie flop that can be improved.
It's a Frankie flop, yeah.
But it can be improved.
It can be improved.
Yeah.
There is
currently,
time on his
Frankie
side.
flop.
But yeah,
we keep saying this, it can improve because he can't get any worse. Like it's dreadful. Just think, remember when he came and the buzz around it.
What would it take for him to get to like good? Like 10 goals, 15 assists? That's not going to happen.
I think
it's got to be mid.
That's just not going to happen.
It's got to be like you've got to be like you say, it's like 10 to 15 goals and the same for assists, isn't it? He's got to be contributing high. If you look at the best wingers that we've had in the Prem,
well, like a modern winger now, you've got to score really, haven't you?
Yeah.
Luis Diaz did more.
Remember those comments for Grealish, please.
He's not.
We'll move on to Grealish because he's higher up. Before we get onto that, because that is where the hip hop. Oh, jeez, I can't say the word. Hip hop. I can't say it. Hypocrisy. Jeez, that was difficult.
Oh, there's going to be loads of. Say it again,
oh yeah, no hypocrisy. I can say it now. Hypocrisy.
There's going to be loads.
There's going to be loads of it. Okay, then now on to the 18th, and this one really surprised me. De Ligt in the season 1920 for 76.95 million. And in his time, in those 3 seasons, 3 seasons, they've only won the league once.
I'll go straight in at poor. For that price tag, for the reputation he came from Ajax. And then I remember the first season he was there, he couldn't break into
couldn't get into the team
past Chiellini and Bonucci, who were like
was it
38.
Barzagli they had as well, the other one?
So you'd expect it. When we saw him at Ajax, everyone thought, wow.
Yeah, he's going to take
future boy, future man.
So, yeah.
Granted, he's got a lot better in the last couple of seasons.
Yes,
a lot better, but he's not warranted the 76 million pounds.
Chelsea now linked with him, aren't they, for 60 mil?
Yeah.
That'd be an awful.
What did you say, Paul?
I said poor.
Yeah,
Paul-
I'll go with
Paul-
Paul.
I think Paul.
was my initial
Paul,
feeling.
yeah.
Don't you think it's crazy though that all these so far, like not one of these has been good, and they're all over.
There's plenty like that.
That's the risk when you pay that much money, isn't it?
Yeah.
You get judged to a different standard than
Yeah.
Yeah,
everyone else.
and there is an element. The players don't necessarily ask for the price tag, do they?
No.
It is just like you say, incredible amounts of pressure. That end of football.
Well, the next one is my favourite, and I'm really happy with this little bit of research. So just trust me on this. This one's a little bit of a longer one. So the 17th most expensive transfer of all time, Frankie De Jong for 77.4 million in the season 1920. Other than the Copa del Rey, he has won the Barca Jugadors prize, which goes to a player which has shown the most fair play in the season. So that's his only award. So I think that just sums him up as a player.
God.
He won that in the season 20 to 2021. So that's other than the Copa del Rey, that's his only achievement. He was the best, showed the most fair play. I just thought it was quite a funny award to get. I think that sums up. That's like getting the most improved, isn't it, as a kid?
It is,
Really, like and the fact that Man United are getting linked with him, I think shows his level.
I don't know. I think there's a player in there. I do. You look at him in that Ajax team. There's a player in there.
But same with De Ligt. It is-
There is. No, I agree. And I think an element of it is Ajax were the underdogs, the dark horses of that Champions League year. And like you look at that team that's been picked apart, not many of them actually gone on to do many good things. Like
if any, really.
Ziyech hasn't done anything really. De Ligt hasn't. De Jong hasn't. Van der Beek hasn't. So, but Barcelona's turmoil is a huge factor in it as well.
It is.
Yeah,
but
it's a
again,
good
similar
shout.
to Juve, like they haven't been at their best the past few years when they've joined.
Yeah.
Probably not their fault, but then he hasn't shone. And the thing, I was thinking average, but I'm going to say poor because instantly he's been outshone by Pedri and Gavi as
Yeah.
soon as they've come into
Yeah.
the team, and
by-
you'd
by
expect
children.
Yeah,
basically.
Gavi's 17.
Isn't
one of
them can't even tie his
own
shoelaces?
You'd expect
Is it Gavi? Doesn't
with
know
the
how
rep-
to do
again
his
the
laces?
same with the reputation and the price tag. You'd expect them to
Yeah,
contribute.
Paul. Yeah.
I'm sort of looking at this thinking, have they improved the team? I don't think De
Not
Jong
really.
has.
No.
I
I don't
understand.
know. I could argue he has. If you can consider where they were without him, I'd
Okay.
say he has improved them.
Would you? If
I wouldn't say he's improved them enough to warrant him being an average signing, but he has definitely improved
but
Barcelona.
at this list, so now we're saying Man United, Lukaku was a better signing than De Ligt. And
But he was.
Frankie De
Yeah,
Jong.
I
No,
think-
no,
I
I
think
agree.
he actually
was, yeah.
But when you say that, I bet this goes out as a clip.
He got a
People
bad
going,
rep as Man United.
He
as
did,
well.
yeah.
I think the media
And
cast him
Mourinho.
out as the villain.
And Man
When-
United-
I don't,
Joe, awful to
I
Man
don't
United,
think
I
he was.
And he's not a Man United player, and Man United fans didn't want that signing really
didn't
for
take
that
to him,
amount of
did they?
money. But he was a good signing really, and he was one of the better strikers that were available at that time.
Oh, he was world class at the time. I believe
Yeah.
that. He was
Yeah.
unbelievable.
It was Everton.
Everton.
That
Yeah,
last
it was
season at Everton,
superb.
didn't he get like 27 goals or
He was
something
That
like
was
that?
the time when they had like
Season
Ross
before.
Barkley, Dale Feo,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
know,
Lukaku.
He fully deserved the move to Man United
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
time. He
Yeah.
was brilliant. And the first season, he was really good for him, I
Yeah.
thought. It's just second season, it went apart, unfortunately.
But I think that's the downfall of Man United. They've not recovered since that at all.
Well, I made this point a few weeks ago. How many players have improved Man United?
But yeah,
Improved at Man United,
Yeah,
or
improved at Man United. Very few. A lot of players regressed at Man United. Most of them.
Well, I can't think of.
Dan James maybe improved Man
Don't
United.
say
That's
Dan,
about it.
Dan James is one of how
Fred,
he's a
last season.
Can we quickly go back a second? Sorry, Dan James is not a Premier League footballer, so he was. How on earth he got that move to Man United? That was ridiculous.
I think he's the only player in the past like 10 years or something stupid like that when they made a profit off a player sale,
I don't know how.
wouldn't shock me.
which is
It
unbelievable
wouldn't
as well.
shock me.
Awful business.
It's because Leeds were desperate, weren't they? Because they were
Yeah.
mugged off before, and they were
Yeah,
desperate
they
for
were.
him.
Yeah.
Okay, then. So now this one's a firm favourite of mine. Number 16, signed in the 1920 season, 78.3 million. Don't need any stats on this man. Harry Maguire. 16th.
Saying 1928 or something.
1920 season, didn't I say?
Oh, I thought you meant like 1920.
Oh,
the year.
1920.
I heard it.
I was like, what?
I'm saying the 1920 season,
He's
sorry.
only
I realised
20
that.
years old.
Do you want me to say... okay,
Well, we all know where Maguire's
We know.
going.
the
don't we?
2019-2020 season, sorry. I was just
Frankie
abbreviating.
Flop.
Can we just- so how many? This will be
Playing
the
them
fifth
by
one, and there's
16th.
3 United players in there,
Yeah.
and
But this is like we say.
2 of them are
United
flops.
just go, oh look, he's had a decent season, let's get him in. How much do you want? Oh, 80 million, okay.
There's no negotiation.
No, there
is
isn't,
Just,
yeah.
What's your price? Yeah, right.
Apart from Sancho, which seemed to last about 20 years over the next.
I love when we bash on United in episodes. It's like my favourite.
I know you do.
It lasted about 20 years, the
Yeah.
transfer
I
saga.
was sometimes trying to play devil's advocate for Man United. It's really difficult.
You
It is
can't.
really
You
difficult.
can't. You can't.
You can't. You
And I
can't.
think, I think the media are really harsh, Man United. That they are over scrutinised, but that's because they are the
They're the
biggest
bi-
club in in
yeah.
England.
If not the world.
They are the biggest club
Yeah,
on the
if not the
They are
world.
the biggest club on the
And
planet.
you know, they should be doing better than they are right now by an absolute landslide.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I completely agree. And the
But
next
long
one.
may it continue.
I know you were going to say that. I knew you were going to come in. That's why I tried to move it on before.
Quickly.
Next one, Bosh.
Yeah. The next one, we're now going to start actually talking about players that have had a good.
They've done
good
quite
have
well.
done well, yeah. Because you look at these so far, this is ridiculous. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't have put any of them. No, if you asked me the top 20 most expensive players of all time, I would not have guessed those four, if I'm honest.
I could have
They-
guessed a couple. but
Lukaku,
yeah.
you know, and
Lukaku.
Maguire.
He's got like the most combined transfer fees ever. He's got like over 300 million in transfer fees.
Well, we'll come to it later on.
We'll come to it later on, don't you worry about that. He'll be back in it. So, 15th most expensive signing of all time for 79.2 million, signing the 2013-2014 season, Neymar to Barcelona.
Oh.
He played 4 seasons and won 8 trophies.
Unreal.
Unreal straight away.
Unreal.
Absolutely real.
And like you say, 79 million when you compare it to, and what number is he? 14th in the all-time.
15th.
15th.
in the
Okay.
all-time.
I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And he,
One
yeah,
of the best players of his generation.
yeah,
It's part of my favourite front three ever.
yeah. It was just.
It's so
I
good.
always think back to
The
that.
second- my second
Is it the
favourite.
PSG game in the Champions League where they came back from like
Yeah.
6-1
Yeah.
down, and he put like a free kick in the top corner, and then
Yeah, PSG won the first leg 4-0. Then they scored. To
that was Tuchel as
Barca win
manager as well.
6-1.
That was a Tuchel manager PSG team. As well.
Yeah.
No,
So-
it wasn't. That was Good Evening at the
No,
time. That was Good Evening, was that at the time?
was it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
it was.
Oh, yeah.
Emery.
Was it?
Oh, Emery. Jeez, I
Oh, was
forgot
it
he
Emery?
Yeah.
He would have come in after, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah.
Then he got sacked
Sorry,
after the game,
Thomas.
I think, didn't he?
He's
you're listening.
He's switched
Sorry,
off by
Thomas.
now after the comments earlier. He heard me call him a cup manager and he's
Straight off. Blocked.
Yeah, that free kick,
Yeah, yeah.
special free kick, is a good time.
He's a great player. I think he's probably the most over scrutinised player as well. He's criminally underrated. When you look
I
at his
think
career,
I think he's brilliant.
and
Yeah.
I think the only reason why he's over scrutinised is because we'll get on to it later for the fact that we know why, who's number one. But okay, then 14th most expensive signing of all time. Gonzalo Higuain, 81 million in the 2016-2017 season, Napoli to Juve, and in 105 games he scored 48 goals, won 5 trophies in 3 seasons, and won 2 Player of the Seasons at Juventus.
How many? How was it? 48
Because,
games in.
we-
48
goals
goals in
100.
105
Because we
games.
spoke
Over.
about this earlier, and
It's nearly 1 in 2.
he brought it up. He said, "Oh, Higuain," and I said, "You were instantly going to dismiss him." a
Oh,
bit,
yeah,
weren't
and
you?"
then when I looked into
said,
it-
he was actually good at Juve.
He was unreal at Napoli as well because they had him, Insigne, and Lavezzi as the front three, and for a few seasons in that Champions League, they didn't lose for how long at home? Napoli didn't. They turned over Chelsea a few times, and he was key to those results. You know, quite a bit of an underdog Napoli team.
I think the reason why I remember the time when he went from Juve to Chelsea. I think that really tarnished my thought on him.
Yeah.
I didn't
In Italy,
realise.
he was prolific.
He was,
see,
yeah.
I said, was it last week before? I never really saw Higuain, but I can appreciate those years at Juventus. He was phenomenal. He was an unbelievable
Yeah.
goal scorer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, Napoli he did well as well. And, I'm still going against my own thought, but when I saw him, I never thought it was that good.
And you got to remember, he started at Madrid. He was at Madrid before that.
Yeah,
He was good at Madrid as well.
Considering he was competing, he was just
Benzema just came at the
Benzema.
same
It was
time.
about
as
Benzema,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they had Huntelaar as well. He was another young upcoming striker.
Oh, don't start on him.
But he was another
Don't say
one.
Hunter on this guy.
They had
He
like
absolutely loves
4
him.
of them,
Great
didn't they? And
signing.
Higuain and a couple were like they're pushing on the brink. But I wouldn't say. I'd say he's definitely better than some of those.
Okay,
that
so
we
where would you put him
rated.
then?
He's at least average. I don't
Yeah,
know.
at
I don't know
least,
if
yeah.
he's.
You gotta say good.
But then you think,
This is for
but then we've got to
trophies,
remember as well the amount of money. We've got to remember
And
that
who
What was his
who
fee
else
again?
there is to come?
81 million, and what he was the
Yeah.
trophies
Average.
he won. You got to remember he is at Juve. Like all respect.
And that was during their. Was that the start of their 9-year run up in
That's
the league?
2016. So
Oh, so the
that's-
middle
they
one,
were
wasn't
in their
it?
prime right there.
Average.
Yeah.
Average.
Did he improve the team?
I'd say
So you
for
played,
the price.
did you replace
average.
Tevez? Am I right in saying
No, they had
that?
both of them, didn't they?
I
At
think
one
they
point.
both, yeah.
So who did you replace? Someone left, didn't they?
We'll come back again. This is the
Yeah.
kind of things that will come.
Mandzukic, maybe.
No, he was still there, wasn't
I'd
Well, who knows?
Average.
Average.
Okay, so we'll slot them in average. Is
Take
everyone
average.
happy with that? Okay, then this again, we can move players around because I
It's so
do now think
ridiculous.
we've already got the first thing I can't believe now. I don't think Lukaku and Higuain can be together because I think Higuain.
I think Higuain's good, if I'm being really honest.
I
If he's
think
got 1
if-
and 2.
if
two
Lukaku's
player of
in
the
average-
year.
Just leave them there for now.
But okay, yeah, I'm just saying for thought already.
I don't know, but then look,
But I don't think Man United Lukaku and Gonzalo Higuain at Juventus are they really. When I spoke about the goals and I spoke about the
I
trophies,
don't
the
know.
impact.
I think Lukaku definitely improved Man United over time, and I think Higuain must
Yeah.
have done if he's got 2 player of the years.
He was unplayable.
We're talking about this
Juve.
Lukaku Man United that was only there for 2 seasons.
what's it? Is that
Yeah,
it?
Yeah,
2
2
full
seasons.
seasons.
2 years, yeah,
He only
2
played
years.
2 seasons.
2 seasons.
Well, you
Oh,
can
okay,
move.
we
You can move.
no,
without
I'm just putting it
that.
out there as a thought. Let that fester in the brain, and we'll move on to the next one then. The 13th most expensive signing back. We're going to go way back, a bit of a throwback to 2009-2010 season. 84.6 million. Real Madrid signed Cristiano Ronaldo. Scored 311 goals in 292 games in the league and got 15 trophies in that time.
He can have his own level.
Yeah, I was
He
going
can
to say.
go above.
It's
It
everywhere.
breaks the
mental.
scale.
Just so good.
It is ridiculous.
The
It's probably
thing is-
the best signing ever.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
Well
Because the
worth,
thing is,
yeah.
if there's only another player you'd put in there and he's not actually had a transfer fee paid for him.
Exactly.
Yeah,
As a
It's a fair point.
it's
Because if he
crazy.
had,
Can you
if
line
that other
up on
player
that time?
had,
yes.
That's really annoying me.
It won't be like that when it goes out.
Oh,
they
Wow.
had, he would be. They'd both be in their own
Thank you.
bracket.
Absolutely. I agree.
Numbers are unreal.
Like, I couldn't believe it. I
Goated.
knew it was ridiculous. 311 in 292
More
games.
goals than games. We're saying like Higuain's just about 1 in 2 is good.
Yeah.
The guy's got more goals
Oh,
than games.
that's not even assists. Like, the assists were ridiculous as well.
And was he all-time Champions
Did
League
he
scorer
have
as well?
5 Champions Leagues or was it 4?
Yeah,
No, he had
No, he's got 5. He's got 5.
He's got 5.
So he got 1 at Man United and 4 at Real Madrid,
He had 4 at Real Madrid.
4
Yeah.
at Real.
which is just different gravy, isn't it?
It's crazy, isn't it? He's an.
And what is he like?
He's the man.
Your international European goal scorer. I know we're not talking European goals, country goals, but he tops that. Tops Champions League goals,
Most hat tricks ever.
most hat tricks. Yeah.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Anyway, next.
All right, I'm not going to talk too nice about him. I've got a Messi hat on, so I'm sorry, Messi. I do love you as well, but you're not on this list. Okay, then the 12th most expensive signing of all time. Gareth Bale signed in the 2013-2014 season, 90.9 million, 5 Champions Leagues and 3 Club World Cups. That's what I just thought I'd
I'm
start
going to
off
put my
with.
neck out there. Good.
Easily good.
Easily good.
I'll be tempted to say real because I think he was.
I think he could
I'm
be
glad
pushing
you
on
said
Unreal.
it because
I
I
think he's brilliant.
think his last 2 or 3 seasons don't justify the
But then,
influence he had.
but
You can't
but
put
then
him-
look
you
at the
can't
other
put
2
him
in there.
alongside.
no,
my
that's what I
thinking.
mean. That's no.
So
Because-
good.
But then I was thinking. I know you can't always rely on Huddersfield, but it's Huddersfield for Real Madrid. It's got the best goal in the Champions League final ever. It's got one of the best goals in the league in the Copa del Rey ever.
That's a great goal. I
I
love
just-
that goal.
There's so many things you look at you win Champions League with the header back post at Atletico Madrid. He was a moments player as well. Big game
He was
player.
And you've got to
amazing
forget
player.
as well, like those first 3 or 4 seasons, his numbers were incredible.
Yeah.
Were
He's getting
incredible.
20 plus
20
goals and
goals,
assists.
Incredible. It's literally like the last 3 or 4 years where obviously something off the pitch has changed his mentality
But that is
towards
part
it.
of the signing. As much as we can say, let's
Yeah.
not try not to think about
Yeah,
it.
that's-
But if
That
you-
has happened.
But
Well,
also,
how much
he
did they
was
pay
still-
for him?
90.
90.
Yeah.
But they definitely got more than that back from him.
But he
Over
was
the
still
time.
in Ronaldo's shadow, which is probably why you could say he's only good.
Well, everyone at Real
Not
Madrid
really.
will always
No,
be.
no.
Benzema was, Ozil was. Like,
But yeah, but I mean, because he was cost more, I know it's different time and everything. So maybe he was going to be like, he was never be equal, but he maybe thought he was going to
good.
be.
I don't think you can put him alongside Neymar and Ronaldo.
No,
As
because
good as good
why
as
I'm
he
sa-
was.
That's why I'm saying you could probably
Good,
put
yeah.
good, but you could also argue in real like I have.
Okay,
Yeah.
then I think we're all in agreement then.
Yeah,
So we'll
good.
have to be good. The first player.
Oh,
being
I've just
good.
remembered. Sorry, we haven't been doing.
Oh, I
The locks in.
oh,
From now on, sorry.
Okay.
Everyone, please.
definitely.
I think you should. You did a really good one then.
Okay,
You can do it.
We can
So do you want me to
alternate.
say again?
We
Yeah.
can all take in.
I'm all right, thanks. I'll let you guys do the noises. So do you want me to say the phrase for you? Do you want to go straight away with
So
the
I can
side?
do.
Okay,
Bale
so I'll
because
say.
he's Spurs.
Okay, Gareth Bale is locked into good. I can't believe we're doing this. How can people take us seriously when we do this?
It's only a bit of fun, Sam.
Okay, number 11 now. This one's great. the 11th most expensive signing of all time in the 2016-2017 signing. Paul Pogba signed to Man United for 94.5 million, and in that time he won the League Cup and the Europa League in his first seasons, but then the next 5 he won absolutely nothing. Who wants to take the floor? Because all I'm saying is, I think it's really fitting the way he's left as it has just now.
Yeah.
I think it kind of really summed up his time at United. It was, and I think this screams players going back to clubs. There aren't many occasions where it actually works out. Like when you look at it,
Best of it is he didn't even break into the first team, did he? When he left Man United the first time, didn't he play like one League Cup game, or he was meant to play and didn't get picked, and he threw a strop, and Ferguson just said, "That's it, you're gone."
yeah, it was a mentality thing. Alex Ferguson said.
I
that-
would.
No, he had an issue with his agent as well, didn't
I'd
he?
put Paul without even a second thought.
Yeah, I don't know if he's quite a flop.
No, I think because
I'd
he
probably
had
go
one
Paul.
season where he pulled like 15 assists and 9 goals, which from midfield
Yeah,
isn't a bad return.
Like you said earlier, he's had moments, hasn't he?
Yeah,
He's had
I remember
really
was
good
it
games.
The first game of the season was it last year before we got 4 assists in a single game.
Yeah.
And he looked unplayable. On his, I hate saying the phrase, but on his day, he can be world class. Can't he? He can
He
be.
can.
But
I think
you don't see it enough.
Can we just ban
I think-
that phrase? By the way, I really want to ban that phrase.
So I hate
the-
saying it, but
I
it's
know.
true.
Oh, it just
But
drives me insane.
I think United are probably equally as at fault as
Yeah.
him, because not how many managers has he had? Like 5, 6.
Oh yeah, I
or
don't think
something?
the structure of the club
No
has helped
one
him.
has
Yeah.
put him in a position where he can be at his best.
Yeah, I
Not
agree.
one of the managers.
He
Maybe
prefer-
Mourinho.
He
tiny
tried
bit.
because he prefers the left hand side of the midfield 3, doesn't
Yeah.
he? The one manager tried to do it just didn't work for whatever
Remember
reason.
when
'cause he got a player
Solskjaer
behind
played him like left midfield?
him. Yeah, but he plays some good games. That's the
No,
thing.
I know.
Yeah, but you know,
I'd say Paul.
it's screaming poor to me. I just, when you look at the other players that have gone for less money and done less for numbers, he's poor.
He's meant to be the player to really spearhead United back
Yeah,
to
he
greatness.
was meant to be the talisman,
He did
wasn't
the
he, for
opposite.
the last 5
And he
years?
said he's been the talisman of their demise.
Yeah. Oh, you had to get it in, didn't you? Okay, so we'll put Paul
Say up
Pogba.
for that.
We're going to lock Paul Pogba into Paul. I was waiting. I was thinking who's going to do it. Okay. I'll probably be doing it.
Mike's next.
Okay.
He's raging.
I'm not raging. It's just if you try and get me to do it, I don't mind you doing it. It's quite funny. I just don't want to do it myself. Because if you all look at me, it will just be awkward silence. Like just nothing will happen.
Well, nothing will happen until you do it.
I'll just move on to the next one. Okay, then now the 10th most expensive signing of all time, signed last summer for 101.7 million. Romelu Lukaku, 8 goals in 26 league appearances. Take the floor, guys.
Flop.
Frankie flop.
Massive.
You know, my only thing with saying he's a Frankie flop and things like that, I don't think Tuchel wanted him whatsoever.
No.
And he never tried
agreed.
to play to his strengths.
Agreed, yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's why I think when you look at the people we've put in flops, when we've got Sancho and Maguire in, they've been played in their position and played in a team where they were supposed to. Well, they tried to build around Sancho
Yeah.
and they played. Whereas Lukaku has just fed off scraps all season. I felt so bad for him because he is so good when he plays up top. If he played to his strengths, he's a good striker.
I think the problem is Lukaku's, the look of him, if you take him on face value, you think he's good with his back to goal. But if you look at him at his best, he pins players
Yeah,
and gets them on the
running
half,
in behind.
and he gets them on that half turn. You always think of that interview he did with Carragher where he said, if I get you in that half turn, it's over. And it was a lot of it. And Chelsea don't play to that. And I
No.
think you're right. Tuchel didn't want him. He was a classic
It's
Chelsea signing
Oh,
where the
yeah,
manager
I agree with
wanted-
every-
of the
everything.
Shevchenko signing.
Crespo.
It's very similar. Chelsea wanted it, but the manager didn't, and just
Yeah.
it didn't work out.
I agree with
Simple as that.
everything you've all said. Like, he's a good player. Tuchel didn't want him. He hasn't had the opportunities. But
That's
if you
it.
go for that much money and they're your figures, and after one season you're gone, you've
and
got to
as
be a
well,
flop.
if,
Yeah,
if I'm
yeah,
looking
yeah,
at the kind of
yeah.
players, actually, I think Paul Pogba has had a better career at United than
Yeah.
Romelu
Absolutely.
Lukaku, definitely.
The weird thing is that Lukaku still finished Chelsea's top goal scorer last year.
So was he actually?
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay,
Still a flop.
So we're going to lock him in.
Forza
flop then,
Inter,
I think.
flop. That price tag as well, 100 million.
And have you seen
and then
it's
he's
like-
just gone straight back.
It's like a $5 million loan fee for him to go back to
Yeah,
Inter.
yeah.
I really tipped him to do really well at Chelsea last year, and
he's-
it's just not
Another one
worked
of my
out.
clips that you will never see that I said on YouTube channel. Okay, we'll move on then to ninth most expensive signing of all time, signing the 2019-2020 season for 103.5 million. Eden Hazard had 3 seasons at Real Madrid and made 48 league appearances.
Flop straight away.
Flop.
Frankie Flop.
And that's one that really surprised me that it ended up being a flop. I have to admit, and I say this, I absolutely love Hazard, and you've seen on my start sub cells, I absolutely adore the guy. I'm disappointed more than anything in his time.
There is a I see an interview, and someone from Chelsea said that like Hazard wouldn't train because the beatings that he'd taken, like his ankles were knackered and everything. They literally said he'd come in and like if he was like, they go, do you fancy training today? And he'd be like, nah, and they just leave him. And he's one of those players where you just knew you've got to let him get through the week, nurse him, tick him over, because you know on a Saturday he's just going to do it. But I think Real Madrid, you look at like the transformation Bale had in his physique, he was quite small really, and he became really athletic within a year at Real. I think their regime's so structured and intense. I think players like him just can't do it.
And you say about his injuries, I think there's a bit of an attitude thing there as well. You saw at Chelsea, he was the main man, it was all about him, but there was that arrogance, that cockiness, and sometimes if it wasn't his day, the toys would be out the pram.
Yeah. The ball boy at Swansea.
Yeah, like I don't know.
But at Chelsea, he knew he was the man, didn't he? He knew he was the main
exactly,
guy.
It was his team.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's got that work ethic to go and.
He's been overweight for 3 years now. Of course, he
I think he
he can blame injuries, but people.
Well, I think he's
how quick do
yourself.
people come back from injuries?
Yeah.
I think he's
like
one
people
of those
have broken legs and they're back in a few months.
I think he's one of those blokes as well, not trying to, because I love Hazard and I think he's one of the better wingers that the Premier League have seen in a long time as an out and out winger, because that's what he was, and he always came in from wide, but he always looks like one of those players because of his build and his stature. When he's injured for a long time, he can easily put on weight, and I don't think it's necessarily because he doesn't want to. I think when you've been on the sideline that long, you saw him come back and he had like a right belly on him, didn't he?
If
you've got to work,
you have got to work. No, I agree.
If you're being paid 300 grand a week, you've got to say, I'm being paid lots of money. I've got to look after myself. As is my profession.
You've got the best physios, dietitians, trainers in the world.
Yeah.
You know, he went to Real Madrid, saying it's his dream move, and he just thought I've made it, and he stopped. He's just stopped caring about himself and playing football.
That's why I'm disappointed, because I was really excited to see him flourishing and absolutely killing it.
To be honest.
I was thinking he'd be kind of like a similar player to I used to always compare him a bit to Neymar. He was a bit of a flair player, but he also did get the goals, and I thought he would have a similar career to Neymar at Barcelona. But really, Hazard, he's had a season like Chicharito when he went to Real Madrid.
Right by all.
That was really harsh. I don't know why Chicharito got a low blow then for no reason. So sorry, mate.
Shouts out Chicharito.
Another one closed off the podcast.
Really upsetting some people today. Okay, then, so Eden Hazard definitely locked in as a flop.
Yeah.
I was waiting. I knew somebody was going to do it. Great. I can't believe we do this. Okay, the 8th most expensive signing now of all time, the 2018-2019 season saw Cristiano Ronaldo sign for 105.3 million, the record signing for a player over the age of 30, and in his time at Juve, he got 81 goals in 98 games, won 5 trophies in 3 seasons, and since he's left, they have not won the Serie A.
That speaks volumes, the last statement there.
I thought I had to get that in.
And they've tried to defend it, haven't they? Like Nedved and that, saying that he was making Juve a better team, but it's just trying to patch over the fact how key he really was. And like you say, he was over 30, he's gone for over 100 million. I wouldn't say he wasn't hitting the same numbers and levels that he was at that peak Real Madrid time, but
still
he was
81
still
goals.
I think his numbers were still
incredible.
81 goals in
class.
98 games.
Any other player who gets that return, you're raving about.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Because his standards were so high, that's the only thing against him.
I'd say
is
the
his own
only
hard
reason
work,
for me
his
he's
own-
not in Unreal is, yes, he's putting up the stats at that time, but is he dragging, and yet 5 trophies in 3 seasons is amazing, but is he dragging them to the elite?
Well,
Probably not.
The only thing
quite.
that holds me back is I think they bought him in to win the Champions League.
About to say the
It
same
didn't
thing.
happen.
That's
It
the only
didn't
reason I'm
happen.
They
saying
didn't really
it's
get
good.
close.
They
did
didn't get close. No.
Did they get knocked out by Atletico? Was it Atletico? I can't remember.
No, they beat Atletico.
Did they
didn't
beat Atletico
They beat
in the end?
Atletico, and it was.
I can't
It
remember.
might come back.
Didn't
Wasn't Ajax, was it?
Bayern have won it in that period.
No,
that
Atleti
Ronaldo
beat
was
them in
there.
the first leg. Remember, because there was Ronaldo with the
Oh,
fans.
sorry,
and
yeah.
then-
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah. Sorry,
he-
yeah. He did it
he
back
knocked
then,
them
yeah.
out.
Sorry, yeah.
Well, did
It'll come back. I don't know why. I
He's
asked these
definitely in
questions,
good.
Yeah,
Easily
he's
good.
good, but not a
Was
real.
it City?
It'll come back. We can do a bit of
Good,
research
yeah.
after, but I think
Weren't it
I get
Ajax that did him the 1 year?
Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
it was.
Ajax beat them in the
Ajax did him the 1
quarterfinals.
year because that was
Yeah,
that year
yeah.
we were saying about that Ajax team.
Quarterfinals and Spurs beat him in the semi-finals,
Yeah.
unbelievably.
Okay, then so we're going to lock Ronaldo in definitely for good.
Your one?
Is everyone happy? And then we'll move on to the next one. So this is ridiculous. I just want to say, if you think about all the names we've mentioned, this next one, the fact that he's on a list. So we've just gone from. I just mentioned the last few names. We've done Eden Hazard, Cristiano Ronaldo, and then the next one, 7th most expensive signing of all time, signing the 21-2022 season for 105.75 million. Super Jackie Grealish to Man City, and he won the Premier League and had 7 goal contributions in his first Premier League season.
He had a great time in Vegas. So, average.
Where would everyone like to put him?
Go on site.
For me, it's got to be poor. It's at least poor.
Oh, I thought
That
you'd go
would-
flop.
I
I
thought
thought
you'd
you'd
go
go flop.
I would go flop.
Sorry, so
But-
how can you put him in poor if you don't be a hypocrite? Like, what did you say about Sancho earlier? I'm just trying to wind you up. Go, carry on.
Okay, I want East to say flop. I want East to say flop
No,
as well.
just say what you think. Say what you think.
I do think there's the pep tax, absolutely. But I just think his return as a forward for 100 mil for only 7 goals is a really, really poor return. But he has time in his hands, and we've seen more glimpses of him doing well at Man City than Sancho has
Yeah.
for Man United.
But as much as I'm a Grealish fan, and we're comparing him to Sancho, do you not think they both have been flops? Like I'm
You
trying
can
to
easily argue
I'd
it.
say
You
the
can
fact
easily
that-
argue it. Yeah.
It is unfair that we're saying because Grealish is playing for Pep, he's got time. And really, so far
But
as a
again,
season,
it's harder to break into that City team. It's
I
harder
was
to
gonna say-
put, it's harder to
100
put up
mil.
numbers.
But do you not think
I
it's-
agree he should be doing better.
and do you also think that
And he
I
started
also
the
don't-
first 7 games.
I
and did
also
nothing.
don't think he's. I know, like you said earlier about wingers. He's not an out-and-out winger.
But he's a forward. You can still say he's
Is
a
he?
forward.
He's like a creative, wide player almost. He's like a playmaker that he's out there.
He's just still a forward, really.
I don't know. I don't think he's not in there to
He's
score
closer
goals.
to a midfielder.
But if he's
than
not in there
a
to score
forward.
goals, they'd provide assists. He got 3 assists last year.
He needs to
No,
be
it should be
better.
more.
But also, he probably played a lot less games.
Yeah, I was going
he
to say,
played,
under what his
played
appearance.
26 times.
But he
Yeah.
How
started
many
the
of them
first
off the
7
bench as
games,
well?
didn't he? The first 7 games of the Prem, he started, I'm pretty sure. And he did nothing those 7 games.
I remember
So
it
Pep
being
gave him a
on
chance.
But not many players come to City and hit the ground running either, especially under Pep.
Poor.
Poor.
Yeah. I agree. I could easily say flop, but I've
Yeah.
seen more from him. And he's still good to watch.
You
He
know,
does
fans
draw
will be
players
screwed,
in.
won't they?
But
I still can't. I know this probably. I'm a person who's really like fought Jack Grealish's corner. I just don't think that when you look at the players we put in poor, I just feel like
It's
Jack
off
Grealish
such a
shouldn't be
small
there.
sample size, though, isn't it?
But then we've only seen a small sample size of
Go on then, flop them.
Jadon Sancho. No, we'll back him in poor because the majority says poor, so
Yeah.
we'll lock him in poor. But I'm just saying
Poor.
we've seen the same amount of time.
No, but I reckon
Jadon
Sancho's
Sancho.
played probably 20 to 25 more games than
Nah, he
Grealish.
didn't.
I reckon
Yeah, I don't think he
Sancho
was injured for a
started more
bit.
than Grealish.
Sancho's but
Sancho was injured for
Well,
a
the fact
fair
that
bit of
Grealish
the
wasn't
season.
even in the squad for like
No.
the last quarter of
played
the
26
season. He was
times.
running.
One point on Grealish though. In January, Man City will think about loaning him out to Villa again, weren't they? Don't forget
I
that.
don't know
think
if
that
you
was
can
true.
believe that.
Fabrizio Romano was saying that was on at one stage, and I believe the man, to the hill and back.
Well, I'm gonna carry on talking. Sorry, I'm literally just gonna
No,
Google
I think
now
he's
to
poor.
compare.
I think
the,
he's
Can I move him in?
yeah.
Are we going poor?
Yeah,
Yeah.
poor.
But
I'm
could
gonna
easily be
get-
a flop, but could get better. He's a player who could get better.
So I'm going to quickly have a
He's
look at
got-
how many appearances Jadon Sancho's made, just because we can't, if we're comparing the two.
He's got to have made more than Grealish. Grealish
I'm-
wasn't in the squad for large parts
Yeah.
of it. And that last
I think both got
third.
injured at bad points.
Oh, I know this is Wikipedia now, but I'm just quickly glancing, so it's usually around about right. So Jack Grealish played 26 times in the Premier League, and Jadon Sancho's played 29 times.
I'm not talking about Prem, I'm talking about across everything.
No, but I was just saying if we're comparing them in the Prem and the
comparison,
impact, for comparison, direct comparison,
How many
impact.
goal contribution was Sancho in the Prem?
I think Sancho was. I had it up early, didn't I? I said it earlier. I think it was 6 or 7.
So if Sam was Grealish, actually you should say flop then. If you're looking at stats alone, but obviously
But the game's not with stats. We always say
Yeah.
that, don't we?
We do.
So we're going to stick with what you guys have said. I was just trying to
Yeah.
play devil's advocate. So we'll lock him in with poor because we'll go with majority.
fine.
I was waiting for somebody then. Okay then. So the next one. Now this is another one that I feel like this has really gone under the radar. It doesn't get discussed as much as it should. So the sixth most expensive signing of all time, Antoine Griezmann, who signed the 2019-2020 season for 108 million, played 2 full seasons at Barcelona, scored 22 goals, and won the Copa del Rey.
Flop.
It's a Frankie flop.
When you consider the numbers he was putting up at Atletico
Yeah.
and the performance he put in for France in that World Cup,
World
Yeah.
Cup, yeah.
and then the money that he went for, and bear in mind, Barcelona didn't actually pay that full 100 and something million pounds because there was a massive uproar with La Liga from Atleti about it. He's still a flop.
He went back to
He
his
had
old
some
club
he
as well.
had some good games at the start, and you thought, oh, this might be clicking here.
Yeah.
But then I just don't know what happened. That Barca they were in a bad place then, weren't
Yeah.
they?
That was the start of the demise.
It
But
was.
didn't they still have Suarez and Messi?
But yeah, so that's when
Slightly
Griezmann
other-
kind of
Yeah,
left,
Suarez.
but Griezmann wanted to play up front, didn't he?
Messi was still there at that time.
But he was just trying to fit
Messi
them
off
all
the
in, wasn't
right,
it? 'Cause
Suarez through the middle, and Griezmann off the left. And Griezmann's best games arguably come in the middle. And if you look at
He
France,
played on the left for
Griezmann-
Raul, so that they need.
Griezmann plays a
Bring
similar game to Messi, obviously at a far lesser level. But
Yeah.
if you look at the sort of stuff they do, it's
Yeah.
very similar.
yeah,
For a serious baller, he had a bad time at Barcelona.
Yeah, the price.
and he's never
tag's
really
really
recovered
bad.
because even this season where he's gone on loan to Atleti,
Yeah,
he's
he's
not done
struggled.
much.
Struggled.
So we're
And
going
I
to
love Griezmann. I think he's one of my
Yeah,
favourite.
I really like
He's
him.
one of my
he
favourite
was
European
firmly
strikers.
the third best player in the world,
At one point, yeah, absolutely.
and then he dropped off the cliff very
Flop
quickly.
for his.
third might be a push when Suarez was around at that,
That
time.
World Cup, he was unbelievable.
He was
Yeah,
great at that World
2018.
Cup. Yeah.
Him and Giroud. Oh, what a combo! What a combo!
So we're going to go in.
They tried
Anto-
not to score a goal,
What a combo!
wouldn't it?
So we're going to say
won
Antoine
World
Griezmann
Cup.
then
Yeah, that's what I mean.
as a flop.
Flop.
Yeah,
I think
We're
it's
all
a
happy with
flop.
flop. Okay, then. So if we whack him in now,
It does
we'll
hurt. It does hurt to
It
say,
hurts
don't
me.
it?
Yeah.
It
Does hurt to
hurts
say
me. I
that.
love him. I do.
So Antoine Griezmann then locked
Another
in
left pegger.
as a flop. If someone wants to,
Yeah.
I'll let you make a noise
So
if you
you
want.
can do it if you want.
You sure, Ted?
No, you're the chief. Lock it.
Top 5 now. So they're big ones. So the 5th most expensive signing of all time, João Felix in the 2019-2020 season for 114.48 million. He's now 20. But remember, he's 22 years old now, and at this time he has scored 21 goals in 3 seasons, but he has won the league.
He's improved them. Is my main point.
The thing I don't
I
get,
think.
if you look at a Simeone team, he just does not
No,
look
he's-
like a Simeone
No, you're
player
right, yeah.
at all. If you think when they had like Diego Costa and Suarez in recent years, and then you buy João Felix for 115 million euros, it just doesn't. It doesn't, and he doesn't suit the way because they soak up pressure. It's counter.
Yeah, it does.
It's a very tactical setup from Simeone. He doesn't suit the style, but
I'll
like
try-
you say,
I think he's done
improved.
well with the style that doesn't suit him.
Yeah,
I know.
He was-
I know he's a score
What
massive
was he?
goals.
19 when he went.
19 when he went.
That
yeah.
was that's very young to
So-
go from Benfica to one of the best teams in
Yeah,
Europe under Simeone
Yeah.
as well. One of the most like regimented
Yeah.
managers.
Bruno Lage made Felix, by the way.
Oh,
Just saying.
Well, we're not
Brought
doing
him through
that. How he's
Benfica.
got a mention when we're doing this is ridiculous. You were slagging him off before the podcast.
so that get removed from the edit.
Get poor.
Poor,
Because I think the only thing
poor
that-
in the grand scheme of
because
things.
he's won the title in the Liga above.
But I
Real
don't
Madrid
think
and
he's been a main
Barcelona.
contributor. It's
No, I
more
was just putting it
Suarez.
into
And
more
Suarez's
discussion.
numbers, considering
it
they've
was like
just let
Suarez
him go.
and Carrasco, and like
Oh.
he hasn't
I
don't know, he hasn't-
Yeah,
like contributed massively. He's chipped
20,
in.
21 goals in 3 seasons.
they're not a high-scoring team, though, are they?
No, they're
either?
not,
That's
they're
another
not,
thing
and
to
that-
consider,
yeah.
isn't it?
7 a season though.
But I reckon if you looked at
114
Suarez's
million
numbers
pound
in comparison,
Yeah,
and
good
it's
point.
an aging Suarez, which just shows the levels that Suarez can produce.
I think Felix, you can put Paul, but if he went to a different team who are more attacking, he could really flourish, couldn't he?
Yeah. There's obviously talent there. He's only 22.
Yeah.
He's still only
exactly.
22 now.
and it
That's
feels
what
like
I
he's
can-
been around for ages as well.
So we're going to lock him in Paul then.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll lock him in Paul then for now. Because remember, we can. So we can as well in a minute. We can move them. Okay, then now to the top 4. So 4th place, signed in the 2017-2018 season for 121 million, Philip Coutinho to Barcelona.
Joe's getting excited because he thinks that 30 mils now a steal.
Yeah, he's listening on a sub bed right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
Good
he
on
is.
Barry.
Yeah.
Don't get excited.
My favourite thing about the Coutinho going to Barcelona is that his best game whilst under contract for Barcelona was actually against Barcelona for Bayern Munich.
Bayern Munich in the
Yeah.
Champions
It was his best
League.
game.
Yeah.
That tell you.
He was good at.
He was
Bayern.
brilliant. Yeah, he was
He
really
was,
good.
yeah.
Centre mid as well.
Did
wasn't
well.
And he was huge as well. He like
He
put
bulked
on the,
up,
he
yeah.
bulked on the bulk, didn't he?
Did the Goretzka.
on the
Yeah.
Bradfurst.
Yeah. No, flop.
Flop.
For
When
his
you,
move.
when you think about that,
He had a
that
great
kind of money.
song, that Liverpool song.
Did, yeah.
Yeah, that made it on Soccer AM.
He was originally called Harry Potter, wasn't he, as well? Yeah, the Liverpool fan got
Let's
Harry
say that-
Potter.
No, let's not do this. Let's not do this. Because it will.
Because he was a wizard.
Get him and move on. Flop.
So we're going to say flop.
Yeah.
I'd just like to ask though, because obviously we know Barry's listening. So if he's listening, let us know in the comments where you think he should be. Okay, then if we move on to the next one, the third most expensive signing of all time, again in the 2017-2018 season.
Third most expensive signing of
This is
all
crazy.
time.
It's mental, isn't it?
Third most expensive 2017-2018 season, 126 million. Ousmane Dembele from Borussia Dortmund to Barcelona.
He had a single good year at Borussia Dortmund. He had 1 year at Borussia Dortmund,
Yeah.
and then they just paid
That's-
massive amount of money
that's-
for him. Couldn't believe it.
And as we speak right now, he's a free agent.
You'll like
Yeah.
this. That's a Man United transfer dealing. That
It
is
is.
right there.
Look-
Hello, how much would you like?
Yeah.
126 million sold.
Looking like Chelsea are knocking on the door at the moment. Chelsea and
He
Barcelona.
might go on to have a good career somewhere.
Yeah.
We
Don't
don't
get
know,
me wrong,
but-
the
but
injuries.
he's so
He's had a lot of
injury-prone.
injuries, hasn't he?
I read a stat that when he has a long-term injury, when he leaves, he always comes back to a new manager as well.
You said it, wasn't it 4 managers?
Yeah, I think
you
it's
said?
4 managers that's
Yeah.
happened to. It's unbelievable, isn't it?
It's crazy. So I think we're all in unison saying flop.
But you know what?
Yeah.
But when he came back from injury last year,
That's because he was playing
Did
for a
really well.
I say this
It's the
all
back
the
end
time.
of the season, wasn't it? He
Yeah,
was
It's the
putting up
same.
some
I
numbers.
say this with
Yeah.
every player when they've got a year left on their contract. Oh, Lacazette
Yeah.
started looking like a decent player
Like a
towards
threat.
at one point. You're going to keep saying Lacazette, aren't you?
I always will.
But he's gone now, so he won't be able to.
Yeah, back to it. You did a Pogba deal, haven't you? Bought 50 mil. He's gone back to his old club for free.
You won't be able to mock him anymore.
I'll find a way.
Okay, then the second most expensive signing back in 2018-2019 season for 162 million. Like that jump now we've made is because we're going on to the PSG boys when they came into the market. 162 million for Mbappe.
Ballers.
Where would who would like to take the floor with this? Because I think this is a really interesting one.
I am happy to say good.
I think I'll agree with good.
Oh,
Anymore?
Ben's thinking, is he going?
He's got
So
a
what you
bit to
think?
Do you not?
prove
Do you
for
not?
me,
Yeah, he has. Do you not think?
club
that-
wise.
But he's also World Cup. Yeah.
Do
Okay.
you not
But
think
World Cup
that doesn't
winner.
come into
Doesn't come
this.
into this, but I
But do
think
you
he
not
makes
think the
PSG really
contributions
dangerous
he's already made has taken PSG to that next level?
I think
As
I'm
in,
well.
where they were before without him.
I'm
and
going to
where
be.
they are now.
I'm going to be controversial here and say the other person on that list has done more for PSG than Mbappe.
side. I agree with that.
And that's okay then. Do you know what?
I
I'll
think
mention.
he's took them further.
So okay, if
Yeah.
I mention the first now, because if anyone
Yeah.
who doesn't know this, number one is Neymar in the 2017-2018 season, the most expensive signing of all time, 199.8 million
Yeah.
altogether with add-ons, and it can go further if they win the Champions League. It will break 200 million if they win the Champions League.
They've got
So
to have
I
that.
think these two,
They've got to.
this is where the comparison can lie, because I don't think these two can be in the same category. Personally,
It's really difficult,
so-
isn't it?
I don't think
I see
these two
your
are on
point.
this.
But I honestly think Neymar has improved PSG. Well, not improved.
You look,
He's
before
done more.
them, though, before those two, there was Ibrahimovic, Cavani, and Di Maria or Lavezzi or whoever was on the wing, and
Yeah.
Pastore was there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Happy.
It's a real progression moving forward.
I think Neymar's done more. He's took them further. Like Mbappe has joined once Neymar already had them
Yeah,
competing, and yes, they got to a final.
Yeah.
but
I think as well, maybe I want to discuss this or not, but Neymar's also made PSG a
image.
massive club, but they made PSG are just a more worldwide club now.
More of a
because
brand.
the
It's
image,
the
yeah.
brand,
It
isn't
is,
it?
yeah.
The brand.
Neymar.
It really is.
Like they've become a powerhouse now.
Yeah, marketing-wise.
whereas they weren't
Yeah.
really before.
Marketing wise, they're fantastic.
Audio listeners, he's pointing at his top. Just if you do, because we all just laughed then. That would have been really weird. Everything, what on
Yeah.
earth is going on? But So
Yeah.
okay, then what we all thinking? Because I agree with you. I do agree.
But then, can you put him in Unreal alongside those other two?
No, because he's won Champions League. If he did, I'd
but
say.
is that? But he can't. See, I don't
Not
think.
Boss? Oh,
But I
No,
think.
yeah, but this is-
forgive
but-
me,
but the only
it's
problem
alright.
is
It's
when
been
you
a
say
long
that-
day.
But look at what he's done to get them from where they were.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
That's what I mean.
I
He-
think
They
when you,
never got to
they
semi-final.
weren't
For
competing.
PSG, it has been an Unreal signing.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
if that's really what you should
Yeah.
judge it on, is
and I think you can put him with the other two because Cristiano Ronaldo didn't single-handedly win 4 Champions
true,
Leagues for Real
absolutely
Madrid.
true.
yeah, I think I'm with you, Sam.
I don't think
But Neymar in Unreal and Mbappe in good.
I think so.
that's
yeah.
what I'm thinking
It
as
seems
well.
like the fair result, doesn't it?
Yeah, I
I
completely
think.
agree. I think that what we've all agreed after discussing it is definitely that Neymar has
Yeah.
improved PSG more than Mbappe. I think ever
Yeah.
will
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he did take them that step further.
But Mbappe's still
It'll be
what,
interesting to
22,
see.
23?
Mbappe's got a long time
Yeah,
ahead of him.
and he's just signed what, like a.
It's a 3-year, isn't
Oh,
it?
is it only 3?
It's
Yeah.
three.
Yeah.
It's
So
still
small.
20,
So
26 years old.
2026.
That's a really small
Yeah.
contract.
That's
in, like-
screaming Real Madrid. In
Real Madrid have
3
already
years' time.
plotted it for
Yeah.
free transfer when
Well,
26.
I thought that, but or like Perez and everyone's bad mouthing him in the press.
Yeah, but that's just currently. They just will, won't they? In 3 years' time, they'll have a different president, won't they? Real Madrid.
I don't know. He'll never.
Does Perez ever age?
until he dies.
Oh, yeah.
He'll still be president even then.
Yeah, I think he has really burnt that bridge with Real Madrid. I can't see
Yeah.
Mbappe ever going to Madrid. You
Like,
can't
who else?
disrespect.
Chouameni was calling him out publicly when he signed,
Yeah.
saying, "I don't know what
Good
he's
signing,
doing.
that.
Oh, really?
I don't know what he's
You have
doing.
to
Not
admit,
signing."
when like you step back and look at it, it is extremely disrespectful. To
Oh,
both
huge,
clubs.
yeah, huge.
But I think this is the further step in it. I know we talk about player power. This is another level of player
Yeah,
power.
yes.
He single-handedly got 2 of the biggest sides right now, global brands of football, begging for him to go there. And now he's what the contract he's got at PSG. We have never seen anything like it.
That's true.
And I think it's paving the way. There'll be more signings like
I know,
this.
it's said, it's rumoured that the Leonardo chap, whatever his name is, he's been
gone,
shipped
yeah.
because of that, and Pochettino's going because of the contract as well.
I think we'll see more of this in football. This is like what the NBA has become.
Yeah.
I know it's player empowerment, and what they do is the superstars right at the top. They'll just run down their contracts, no intention of signing, and then they get in a position where they hold all the power.
Yeah.
I can come to you, but you've got to give me this. You've got to give me guarantees, or
Yeah.
I'll go there and get this.
They also know they get more money than the sign-on fee is the size of a transfer fee.
Yeah.
So
I
for them,
completely agree.
it makes sense for them to move on for free.
It is quite worrying, but it is quite nice to see though these big brands of football having to answer to somebody else. And I know it's not ideal, it's players, but it's nice to see that these football clubs.
We'll
that
see
have
how
been-
it works out, won't we? It'll be
Yeah.
if this is Mbappe's team, it'll be interesting.
Will be. But again, if he does propel them to Champions League as well, you can then say you can move to Unreal. You can do.
You can
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
You
Oh,
can
yeah.
brush the shoulders then of Neymar.
I think though Mbappe will have a short career. I think by about 32 he'll retire because he relies so much on his pace.
That'll be a really long clip to hold. That will for that to come to fruition, won't it?
That's my only prediction. Be a bit like a Michael
Sure.
Owen.
For about 10 years.
I think he'll have
Maybe
a few bad
he'll
hamstring
regress
injuries and
into-
he'll go.
I don't know, different position.
Because technically,
That's my opinion.
Just right back. right back.
beep, beep.
okay, then now just before we've finished this ranking list, because obviously we can move on player. Just quickly off camera, then there was a discussion that I really want to open up to the floor now. Who is more likely then to win a Ballon d'Or, Haaland or Mbappe?
Mbappe.
Definitely Mbappe.
For me, it's Haaland.
But we just said about the branding, and that's massive now.
Yeah.
The image, the everything that he
I
offers.
think Haaland is a world class striker. I don't think he's capable of being the best player in the world.
See, I think
I
he could
really
be.
can't see it.
So I think for the size, but there's also the pure pace, but how good he is technically, the sheer strength for the bloke. I think you could play
I think-
through him. He could be the main man for you. I really think he's going to propel City to
But then
another level. I really do.
Mbappe can do that. Mbappe can do
Well,
everything that Haaland
yeah.
can do.
And where have we seen it from Haaland? Bundesliga. Mbappe's won a World Cup.
But
At
he's doing
21.
Champions League as well, hasn't he? Haaland.
Do you remember
Yes.
Kramaric?
Yeah,
I
but
always think,
you
do you
can-
remember Kramaric at Leicester?
Went to Leicester.
And then he
Yeah.
went back to the Bundesliga and he was like the best
Hoffenheim.
striker.
Did have
Yeah.
well, Hoffenheim,
Is it,
didn't he?
uh,
Yeah.
I always just think that is the one that I don't know why my brain goes to him, and that just sums up why the Bundesliga is in the bin, in the mud. compared to.
I get the point. I just think
Where's
Haaland's
Where's
different.
Haaland done it in the group stages? And
No, he's
Mbappe's
done it in knockouts as well. He has.
how did they get?
Against
how far did
against
they
Man
get?
City, he was very
How
good.
far did they get? Quarters.
Well, it's not his fault for the whole team,
No,
is
I
it?
agreed. But
It's
then
like Dortmund.
Mbappe's scored 2 away at the
I think
Bernabeu.
Mbappe's that
He's-
wow
yeah.
factor. He's that wow factor. He can just do something like that, and it's like it mesmerises you. Like that goal against Real Madrid in the last
yeah.
minute, where he cuts in like a step over, and it's in, and they've won
That
the game.
single-handedly,
Yeah, yeah.
that
It's-
goal shouldn't have.
But when
he
you
should
think-
not have been allowed to
But
do
when
that.
you think
the way he
about
did.
the players that have won the Ballon d'Ors for the last how many years, they've all done that individual wow brilliance factor.
Yeah, no, last
Messi,
few years has been a goal scoring competition. Who
yeah,
gets
but they
Ballon
still
d'Or.
do
It's
wow
very
moments. Think
frustrating.
of that Messi goal where he sat Jerome Boateng down and basically retired him.
What 2013 to
And then you
2014,
talk
wasn't it?
about that.
Yeah, it's a
Years
while
ago.
ago now.
But then you talk about that Ronaldo overhead kick against Juve, and then you think about what Mbappe's starting to do. It's that wow moment in the big moments against the big boys.
and he's
Okay.
started.
I think Haaland
I
do
know
that, I really
it's
do.
easy for him
I hope
to
he does
win.
because I like Haaland.
It's easier for him to win the French league, but he's won stuff. Which,
Yeah.
which is huge. Haaland's nothing.
No, but
Yeah.
that's, again, it's
Again,
not just his
no,
fault.
it's not his fault.
Yeah.
But Mbappe
certainly
was
will do next year.
Mbappe was the best
Yeah.
player when they won the World Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like
I
Pele.
get that.
The age he did it, that's like Pele sort of stuff.
Yeah, but also Holland's from Norway. They're never going to win an international tournament, are they?
Yeah.
Right now.
Well, they're not probably ever.
Well, yeah.
They've got Prince Martin, so.
I was about to say
But other than that, who are,
Captain
we've got
Martin.
Josh King on the wing.
Okay, then.
You know.
How we've got onto Josh King when we're talking about the most expensive signings of all time. So I'll swiftly move it back over to here. If we'd like to move one player, whoever would like to go first, it doesn't really matter the order you want to go in. If anyone wants to take the floor, I can happily go
I'll
straight
go
in.
first. Judging on what we've got in the bottom 3 categories, I'm going to move Pogba to average.
Okay.
I
I'm
just
not
think
actually against that, you
I
know.
think when you compare all the other ones in poor and flop, I think he's been far better for United than any of those have for their clubs.
Yeah, I agree. I think when we've seen the way we've built up this bottom tier, there are some real stinky signings.
It's embarrassing for football that out of the top 20 signings ever, there was 1, 2, 3, 4. So
Six
there's
are
five.
goodable.
So 11 after 20 are even poor or flops.
And the top
That's
six,
really bad.
top
Well-
six, 2 of them are Ronaldo's in there twice, and Neymar's in there twice.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it is though, because once you get into this certain bracket of fee, you are judged differently.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
kind of rightly so, but at the same time, it's not their fault. So it's
Yeah.
a kind of a double-edged sword, isn't it? But
Yeah.
you are judged to a different level.
And I think
It's not your
yeah.
fault a club will pay that for you. But
Yeah.
you've then got to understand that,
The
like you
pressure.
say, the
Yeah.
pressure's there and you're going to be expected
And
to perform.
19 out of his 20 signings, these have all come in the last 10 years. The other one was Ronaldo, who was 08-09.
Yeah.
It shows how much football,
Which was
in
a
terms
world
of money,
record at
really-
the time as
yeah.
well.
You know, we're not even mentioning Zidane here, who was
No.
54.
Million in like
Mil.
2004 or
Yeah.
something like that.
Figo and
I think it was like 48 mil, something ridiculous.
there was one in
big,
Italy,
big
which
fees.
was huge, wasn't it?
Nedved was a big
Was
one
it
as well at the time.
Vieri or no? No,
Vieri was
Christian
big.
Vieri.
Yeah.
Nedved was big as well.
Veron
at the
was
time.
massive as well.
Veron, yeah.
Okay then.
So yeah, I just find it mental. You know, 19 20 transfers for the last 10 years. Money's taken over football ridiculous amounts now.
So is there any other 2? You 2, sorry. Have you got any other 2? Ben, go straight in then. Go with it.
Gareth Bale to unreal.
Oh.
That was fun. I knew you. Well,
Yeah,
you thought that
I'm all
earlier.
for it.
I just think if you look, I know what we've said about him, and you've got to judge on the last 4 years. But, and yes, he's in Ronaldo's shadow, but everybody for the last how many years has been in Ronaldo's shadow. If they played at Real Madrid, he's
Or
just
Juventus.
been or Juventus, but he has just done it, and his trophy cabinet speaks volumes. And those seasons where he was unplayable, absolutely unplayable. And I know we're not talking international, but he even did it for Wales.
Yeah.
And he's still doing
Yeah.
it now for Wales.
He's dragged Wales through.
He's
hasn't
dragged
he?
Yeah.
Wales through.
As Aaron Ramsey's really gone downhill. Bale's
just
still
maintained.
maintained a level
Yeah.
to get him through, hasn't
I
he?
can see why you put Ben unreal. There's moves you could have done that would annoyed me more. So I won't really argue with it.
Yeah.
can-
I don't mind it, but then I'm looking at the other 2 in good and I'm thinking
Oh yeah, you could absolutely put
Yeah.
another one
so
up there.
disrespectful to Mbappe now.
No, it is. But
We're just giving that whole spiel about how he could make it, and then we've just gone, yeah,
Bale
Bale's gone.
did do it though.
No, I know. We're
Yeah.
Bale did, Mbappe could easily.
Mbappe's doing it.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Bale's already done it.
Done
That's
it.
the difference, I think.
Mike then.
No, I've done mine.
Sorry, sorry.
Let's put Grealish at flop, eh? Big Super Jack, I don't care. Give him a
Joe's squirming on his sunbed right now.
Okay then. And now I
Absolute
feel
flop.
like there has to be.
So
Look at
many
the flop.
flops.
It's off the page.
I'll
dear.
have to edit. Well, when they see it, it won't be off the page. Don't worry about that, guys, because I'll have to edit that. Make these pictures a
We'll
lot
make
more
the flop
smaller.
bar bigger.
I'm looking at the bottom flop now and seeing if there can be anybody who could be
I
moved.
don't think there is. I
really
think they're all
difficult to move
rooted
up.
there.
No, I know.
So we've got Grealish.
We've got Grealish,
Dembele.
Dembele.
Move Coutinho bases by Munich.
Coutinho.
Yeah, before his on loan stint at Bayern,
after
he's in
Coutinho?
poor.
He's after Coutinho. That's Griezmann.
Oh, Griezmann.
Griezmann. Oh,
Who's after that?
no, Griezmann. No, probably not. Dembele. So it's
Who's after Griezmann?
in that
Coutinho.
bottom. Yeah.
No, left.
Hazard.
Oh, Hazard,
Can't leave
Lukaku,
Hazard.
Maguire, Sancho.
Fatty.
The only one I'm going to move then is I am going to move Gonzalo Higuain from average to a good signing because I
I
don't
agree.
think
I
Higuain
I agree.
should be now brushing shoulders with
And now that
Paul
average
Pogba.
tier looks
better.
right, I
Yeah.
think.
If Hugo's got 1 and
I
2,
It's 1 in 2, which is a very
Two
good
player
goals
of the
to game record.
seasons.
2 player of the
Yeah,
seasons. Yeah.
fair.
Okay then, so you'll see it now on the screen what we've decided. Unreal, we've got Neymar, Ronaldo, Neymar, Bale, and then good, we've got Ronaldo, Mbappe and Gonzalo Higuain. In average, you've got Paul Pogba and Lukaku, and in poor, we've got De Ligt, De Jong, and João Felix. And in flop, we've got Harry Maguire, Jadon Sancho, Lukaku, Eden Hazard, Griezmann, Coutinho, Dembele, and Jack Grealish. Let us know in the comments anything you disagree with.
Ultimate lucky.
Yeah, ultimate lock-in. Let us know in the
it's like
comments.
Group 101, isn't it?
Literally, I feel bad for some of these guys, but it's difficult. But let us know in the comments any ones you would change, anything you disagree with, anything you want to add, and do smash the like button and do subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on any
Or is
form,
it here?
Spotify, Apple
Over
Podcasts.
here or whatever it
Oh, I can't be bothered to do that kind of editing. If you leave it listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, leave us a review, 5 stars, and if it's not 5 stars, then don't leave us a review. Everyone's socials will be in the
So
bio.
have we got an exit tune this week again? Or
Don't, because I have to edit that out for YouTube. I can't, the podcast doesn't get monetized when I'm
No,
doing it.
Let me find. What do you want?
does it go out on Spotify though?
Yes.
Oh, okay. It was on
we'll
Spotify
put
last
it.
week, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I know it can be on Spotify, it just can't be on YouTube.
Or maybe just prepare one for next week.
But
so.
yeah, we'll do next week.
Yeah, next week I can. And if
I'm
you
trying
let
to
me know,
search just for flop and I can't find a good song for flop.
we'll end the podcast there. 'Cause site search it through now. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. Bucket Sam, over and out, baby.